Warning: the following content may be disturbing to some individuals. Consumer discretion is advised.
Sirens of the Supernatural.
Hello, and welcome back to the Sirens of the Supernatural podcast. We're going to do something a little bit different this week. Seeing we're going to release a special Halloween episode next Tuesday night, which, of course, is Halloween, October 31st. And you definitely don't want to miss it, seeing as we'll be inside the most haunted room at the Martha Washington Inn in Abingdon, Virginia. Now, this is allegedly the most haunted place in the entire state, and we're going to be in the room that the most activity takes place. So this is definitely something you need to check out. So to get ready for the Halloween episode, we're going to do something a little cool. It's going to be real special for you tonight. We have a listener story. It came from the same listener that sent us Red House Hill, and it's really amazing. And I'm going to read that, which actually took place in that very room in the Martha Washington where we'll be doing our broadcast from. Before I go any further, I want to mention that, next Friday, November 3rd, we're going to be releasing even more footage from inside the room at Martha Washington as Sirens Rhonda and Lindsay will actually spend the night in the most haunted room in the Martha Washington Inn. And they're going to have night vision cameras. They've got audio recordings. They're going to try to capture any creepiness that might occur during their stay. So that's something you definitely need to check out. I expect it to be a very fun-filled episode, very interesting. And they'll also be talking about their experience that night, both in the room and sharing the details of a haunted tour that's in the town there in Abingdon that we've arranged just for you, our loyal listeners. And as a special treat, we're also going to release actual footage, not only of the Martha Washington Inn, but hang on, you may actually get to see for yourselves what we actually look like. So that's definitely going to be a treat. So get your popcorn ready. So without further delay, this is going to be the story of the Martha Washington Inn. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. So let me start this story by stating that I'm a skeptic. I don't believe in ghosts. But despite this, I love ghost stories, ghost walks, going for walks in old cemeteries, on Halloween, and basically any and all things spooky and creepy. I have a few magician friends that make their list hosting seances, Ouija sessions, glass moving, tarot readings, and all kinds of ghoulish activities. Being a student of the genre of magic that focuses on the supernatural, known as bizarre magic, I've learned and studied many methods used by the mediums to produce convincing evidence of paranormal activity. Although there are many ways to explain unusual phenomenon, I cannot explain what I experienced in this story. Now, me and my wife were celebrating our wedding anniversary and decided to stay in the Martha Washington Inn, located at Abingdon, Virginia, because it's reportedly one of the most haunted buildings in the country. After doing some research, I learned that the suite 403 of Martha is supposedly a hotbed of paranormal activity. When the Martha Washington College, as it was then known, opened its doors to the sick and injured soldiers during the Civil War, there was a student that took on the responsibilities of a nurse to care for the individuals that were brought in for medical reasons. Her name was Beth. She was a beautiful, kind-hearted girl that thoroughly enjoyed playing the violin. She ended up with the responsibility of caring for a Union soldier. And while caring for him, she would often play music, beautiful music to comfort him. In the course of caring for him, they fell in love. One day, he finally died. Despite the fact that it broke her heart, she knew he was no longer suffering. Just 3 weeks after his death, Beth died of typhoid fever that was affecting many at the time. Many individuals claim that the violin music can still be heard sometimes, and others report that Beth's apparition has been seen in and around the room identified as 403 in that very building. Well, my wife and I arrived at the Martha Washington Inn on a Wednesday during the off-season. It was raining hard that night, so the scene was already set for a good ghost story before we even made it to the front door. The hotel was for the most part deserted, and after we checked in, we returned to the front desk to ask some questions about the stories we had heard and asked the desk clerk if she had ever had any experiences herself. She, of course, denied experiences anything, but had heard many of the same stories. I mentioned that I'd hoped to reserve Suite 403, but it was out of the price range. She asked why we wanted that particular suite, and I simply grinned and said, "You know why." The desk clerk looked at our reservation and noticed our address was a POAE Army Post Office, Armed Forces Europe address, and asked if I was in the military. I replied yes and showed her my military ID. She said, "The owner is very military friendly and Suite 403 isn't reserved. So if you want it, it's yours, no extra charge." Nothing out of the ordinary happened the rest of the evening, but during the night, I was awakened by a cold breeze across my face that was similar to an oscillating fan. It wasn't frigid, but just enough to keep me awake. I wrote it off as just an air conditioner kicking on and went back to sleep. The next morning while we were packing, I happened to look above the bed, and that's when I noticed there was no AC vent on the wall or even in the ceiling. Additionally, the AC was not even on, as it was a month of March and not yet warm enough to warrant even turning on the air conditioner. While I still don't believe in ghosts, I have no explanation whatsoever for what I experienced. All I know is that it happened. It wasn't my imagination, not even a dream. Was it the ghost of Beth checking on me to make sure I was okay? I guess I'll just never know. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed our story. Very interesting there. Who knows what we may have in store for us when we go and check out the Martha Washington Inn. And remember, if you guys are ever out for a spooky stay, check it out. So, any of our other people out there, our fellow Sirens, want to send any other stories, send it into sirensofthesupernatural@gmail.com. We love hearing from you guys. And also check us out on your favorite podcasts, such as Spotify, Apple, Amazon Music, all other major platforms at Sirens of the Supernatural. Also on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, again, at Sirens of the Supernatural, and on TikTok, which I know some of you guys are big fans of, Supernatural Sirens. And come back with us on Tuesday, October 31st, Halloween, for that special Halloween podcast at the Martha Washington Inn. Remember, room 403. And on Friday, November 3rd, we'll have our follow-up podcast coming out as well. So until then, stay safe, stay happy, and have a happy Halloween, and stay spooky. We'll see you on the spooky side.